Welcome to SVGTV News and Sports for Wednesday, October 16th, 2013. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Having academic qualifications is not enough for one to effectively function on the job. That's according to Chief Education Officer Luan Gilchrist, speaking at the 2013 College and Career Exhibition today. Gilchrist told the students they must be able to bear the psychological burdens which come along with their jobs.
Challenges are often many. We tell you to go to school, do your work, and you'll get a good job. But having a good job is just one aspect of it. You must be able to deal with the psychological burdens, with all the stresses and traumas. You have to prepare yourselves academically, mentally, psychologically, socially.
The Chief Education Officer also expressed concerns with the future of the teaching profession here, noting that while the future seems to be bright for doctors and police officers, for teachers it appears to be bleak.
But let me ask you this. Who is going to educate those teachers, those doctors? Who is going to tell them to do the SBAs? Who is going to tell them and instruct them and assess them and guide them? Are you doctors self-made? Are you lawyers self-made? Can the astronauts read their instruments if they never had a kindergarten teacher or math teacher or a physics teacher? Think on this thing. And certainly you won't want to have a doctor who can't read to give you medication, so thank a teacher.
And the 2013 College and Career Fair, hosted by the SVG Medical Association in conjunction with the Ministry of Education, is to be entrenched in secondary school development. That's according to President of the Medical Association, Dr. Rosalind Ambrose, at the opening ceremony earlier today at the Methodist Church Hall. Dr. Ambrose added that it is the only occasion where college recruiters and counselors from around the region and in other parts of the world made their tour through the Caribbean to meet, greet and speak with potential college candidates.
Occasionally, a particular college may provide a facilitator to carry out their own individual tour in a similar exercise. Either way, it is my hope that as a young student seeking to reach some future aspirations, or perhaps a parent or guardian who oversees the scholastic development of a youngster, that you would take the maximum advantage of these opportunities, as they are at the level which go beyond simply filling out the application form online, submitting it with a short questionnaire, and hoping for a response in a few days.
Dr. Ambrose noted that nothing beats the old face-to-face interaction, and it is for that reason that they host the exhibition annually, now in its 9th year.
It is tailor-made for your specific purpose. All our secondary schools across St. Vincent and the Grenadines have been invited to this event over these next 2 days. That is because we are of the view that by the 3rd form, and perhaps earlier, most of our students should at least have considered what career choices may be suitable for them. By the 3rd form, that is when you are considering your course selection for education purposes, and more so, those are the courses which begin to steer you towards your college and career pathway.
A team from the Geothermal company Reykjavik is expected here early next month to carry out a series of tests as this country moves forward with its geothermal project. At yesterday's media conference, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said the team will spend some time on the leeward and windward sides of the island, where the tests will be carried out. According to PM Gonsalves, the geothermal project is a game changer for SVG in terms of reducing the cost of energy.
You hear people talking to you about, you hear the opposition talking to you about they will reconfigure the fuel surcharge by raising the base. Now it doesn't matter whether you reconfigure this fuel surcharge or you raise the base. They said they're going to show a different method of calculation. I tell them to bring it. I say bring it on, because I know that is not going to, however you reconfigure it, is not going to be less than 40 US cents approximately per kilowatt hour. Slightly over $1 EC. kilowatt hour per unit, as the householder would say. What we have to do is what we are doing. Going into improving the efficiency of the hydro plants, putting some resources into solar and have the policy in relation to solar, the fiscal policy, and to have the buyback system in relation to the solar and bringing as part of the national grid. All those policy issues have been dealt with. And of course, to push for geothermal.
Dr. Gonsalves said his government has been looking for the right mix of companies to collaborate with on the geothermal project, and he believes it has found it through Emira Reykjavik and the Clinton Global Foundation. On November 8, 2012, PM Gonsalves signed an agreement with the Clinton Foundation under the Clinton Climate Initiative to provide a technical and financial support for the exploration for geothermal energy. As part of activities to mark this country's 34th independence celebrations, the National Heritage Committee yesterday afternoon held a parade through the streets of capital Kingstown. Christine John Dean has more in this report.
The streets of Kingstown were filled with a burst of blue, yellow and green on Tuesday, October 15th for the 3rd annual National Heritage Parade. The parade featured various displays of this country's heritage exhibited by students from schools across SVG. Through the streets, the sounds of drums could be heard as persons performed dances, giving onlookers a taste of SVG's rich cultural heritage. Following the parade, which commenced at the cruise ship terminal, there was a mini rally at Heritage Square which heard speeches from a number of speakers. Patrons were also entertained by performances from vibrating skakes, Renaissance dancers, Chanel Mackenzie and Chanel Scorpion Williams, the 2013 National Calypso Monarch. The 7 contestants who will compete in this Saturday's Miss Heritage pageant were also featured at the parade. The competing schools are West St. George Secondary, Intermediate High, Beckwith Community High, St. Joseph's Convent Kingstown, Bookament Bay Secondary, Sandy Bay Secondary, and host the St. Vincent Girls High School. Kristen John Dean reporting for SVGTV News.
More Vincentians are being called upon to get involved in food production. This comes from Minister of Agriculture Saboto Caesar, addressing the Clare Valley Government School annual World Food Day celebrations yesterday. This year's event was held under the theme Sustaining Food System for Food Security and Nutrition. Kristen John Dean has more in this report.
A holistic approach is needed to increase food production in SVG. That's according to Minister of Agriculture Saboto Caesar, speaking to students of the Clare Valley Government School at their annual World Food Day exhibition on Tuesday, October 14th. Caesar said it is important for each person to ensure that they are contributing to food production regardless to if they are farmers or not.
And I speak as well to the lovely friends who have returned from the UK. I also want you to find some way, and those from North America, from Canada and the United States of America, to find some way as to how you can assist someone on a farm, whether it's a poultry project, whether it's a rabbit project, whether it is with the bees, because honey production is something that we are going to focus heavily on in 2014, whether it is to simply buy a sheep for the family next door, for the youngsters to deal with before they go to school.
Also making an address was past student Grenville Williams, who outlined to the students the importance of eating healthy. This, he says, will further enhance their concentration in the classrooms.
We would like our children to gain the maximum when they are in school, because they are the ones who are going to take our society forward tomorrow. That is what we are preparing them for. There are a number of initiatives associated with the schools, for example, the school feeding program. And I wonder how many of us support the school feeding program in one way or the other. As Ms. Blake Brown said, as a farmer, do you give your produce to the school?
As part of the day's activities, the students were involved in a tree planting exercise on the school's compound, followed by a food exhibition, which displayed local food and juices. World Food Day this year is being celebrated under the theme Sustaining Food System for Food Security and Nutrition. Kristen John Dean reporting for SVG-TV News.
For 2 days commencing tomorrow, a workshop will be held with various environmental stakeholders to combat land degradation and drought here. Environmental analyst Yasser Belmar told SVG-TV News that over the years, SVG has experienced significant soil loss, most of which is as a result of human practices.
So some of the issues that we are facing in St. Vincent have to do with the loss of soil due to bad agricultural practices, the conversion of agricultural land into residential plots. Also, we have an issue of deforestation, especially in our watershed areas. We have illegal agriculture taking place in a lot of areas that are very critical for ensuring that we have an adequate supply of water. So addressing some of these issues is what the convention is about, the Convention to Combat Desertification and Land Degradation.
Noretta John, project coordinator, said the workshop will focus on bringing awareness to the issue of land degradation and developing plans for the drafting of a national action program.
It has 3 objectives, mainly, one, to raise awareness, because a lot of our persons, even though we are involved in what the convention requires, we do not know a lot about the convention. So one will be an awareness drive. 2 will be exposing them to the national action plan and the whole alignment process, as well as an integrated financial. Lastly, we want to develop a roadmap. How are we going to get there to align our NAP?
The workshop, to be hosted by the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, will be facilitated by Calvin James, coordinator of the Partnership Initiative on Sustainable Land Management, and local environmentalist Dr. Renal Murray. This country's government will later this month launch the National Economic and Social Development Plan. The National Economic and Social Development Plan for St. Vincent and the Grenadines covers the period 2013 to 2025 and outlines the country's long and medium-term strategies for national development. According to a media release, the plan provides the framework for government, the private sector, and civil society to embark together on the journey of economic transformation in the face of an ongoing development challenge. The release further states that the plan seeks to improve on the previous plans, which spanned the period 1947 to 1995, and to outline a strategy to achieve sustainable economic growth, job creation, and poverty reduction, leading to the improvement in the quality of life for Vincentians. The launch of the National Social and Economic Development Plan will be held at the Kingston Methodist Church Hall on Friday, October 25th, beginning at 10 a.m. Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves is expected to deliver the feature address.